Well, good morning everyone. Welcome back to the cabin. It's another cool, brisk morning this morning. I think the temperature was down around 28 degrees. I had to do my average morning chores, which one of those is walking to the CREEK. They just love that, so we like to go down there at least 4 or 5 times a day and run around, stretch their legs. Of course, they're still hyper, they're still active when we get back up here, but they generally settle down around I'd say about 9 or 9:30, and then they're out until generally they will wake me up around 6:30 wanting to come outside and go to the bathroom. So they get a good 9 hours of sleep or more every night, and you know, sometimes during the day they take a little cat nap. So I thought I would take another walk back down here and take a look at that tree that fell. Well, so this is the top of the tree. It basically destroyed the little shelter, their temporary shelter that I had that parking the tractor under. But I had been using the tractor so much lately and had that other trailer that I had my water barrels on backed in here that I just didn't take the time to swap it out. But in that windstorm, when this tree fell, it actually lodged up in this evergreen right here and hit the top of this, and there were still a few supports that were kind of broken but yet still intact, which I don't think it was helping to support anything. But this dogwood tree right here, of course it got split, but that is helping to hold a portion of that up too. And I think what actually helped is when the tree came down, of course a lot of the bottom limbs rested against the ground, and then also there was a pile of slab wood there that it was laying across the top of the corner, and then this tree right here helped it to keep it back. Can you imagine if that tractor had been under there? As much as it came down on the corner, it may have got something and damaged some of the body work, because it didn't come on down, so I don't think it could have, you know, crushed anything else. But we did manage to get it all cut up to where I could get the trailer out. And what I'm going to do is I've got the top cut up to probably about 20 feet from right here. So once it gets dry enough, I'll try to get the tractor down there, hooked to that, and pull everything back in that direction. That way I can finish cutting it up. See, right here is the top of the pile of slab wood that it had hit, and right here is where I cut that. So, well, actually no, I'm sorry, I cut it right up here, and I'll be able to grab a hold of that and pull all of that back this way and get it down. But this right here is the first 12-foot log that I've got, and then there's one in the middle, and then this one on the end. The tree was actually on the border, standing beside this great big huge white pine that I've got, that probably you remember back when I was hunting for pine cones to go on the Christmas tree. I was actually walking around the base looking for pine cones. But anyway, it didn't have any roots on the bottom. Let me show you that. Yeah, the base of this tree just really didn't have any roots. I said on the bottom, I meant on the bottom side of the hill. Basically just this one little spindly root and a few others. I guess the bulk of them must be on the uphill side. But this tree was standing. It withstood, you know, several windstorms, but when the wind came just right, it was coming out of the northeast. It basically took it right over. So, and I don't know how in the world that it missed that sawmill, that tiny house, and didn't destroy anything. I tell you what, God is good, because that's the second near miss on that sawmill that's happened. But anyway, it's down safely, and most of it will be utilized either as firewood, wood for the new buildings, or spindles for the front porch. I'll tell you, we're really happy with this handrail, the way that it's turning out. I haven't put any oil on it yet, but I think it's really going to look good. I think that the inside of the cedar tree that I actually burned, I think it's going to look really rich and really dark when I put that oil on there. So I think it's going to look really, really nice. And of course, you know, I kept everything crooked, trying to stay with the same theme that I had going on up here, but I think it lends a lot of character. I actually started, instead of covering this in first, I actually started going this way because the dogs had a habit of wanting to jump off every time I would pick something up. They would want to jump off the porch, and you know, it's not that far, it's only about 4 feet, but I don't want their shoulder joints and stuff like that to them to start having problems later on. So what I can prevent, you know, I can't prevent them from jumping off everything just like he jumped off in the creek, right? But this porch I can. They can actually stand like he's doing now and look through, but they don't dare try to jump through it. But anyway, yeah, I think that this is really going to look nice. You know, and I still, at some point in time, I intend on taking some branches and, you know, coming off in different directions and lending more of a carved out look, you know, with a lot of the detail and the trim and things like that. So it's going to be an ongoing process, but it's starting to look a whole lot more like home. You remember all of that wood that I had in here? Well, I had to start burning wood in October because it was getting chilly at night. But I have pretty much went through, say, a cord a month. Of course, that was the box elder, and you know, it's kind of a medium kind of wood. But I've ran out of my hardwood. I've got a few pieces of red oak left in there. And I've also got some hardwoods on the property here. I've got some hickory around here, but they're younger trees, you know, they're only about this big around. But I have quite a few of them up on the ridge and way back in the woods behind the cabin, but I don't have any way to get to them. So I went ahead and ordered a cord of white oak, and it should be here, I don't know, I'd say next week. And that will get me at least through the winter. So the harder wood burns longer. So I need to work harder this year on gathering some more hardwood to go with any other softer wood that I might be able to get, you know, that is within reach. But anyway, yeah, I ordered that, and it wasn't too bad. It's $120 for a cord. So I went ahead and ordered 2 of those, and that should get me with what I've got in here. A lot of this I've had to throw to the side because I'm going to have to saw it up in a little bit different way. Either that or bust it up, because the bigger it is, the more the fire goes out during the night times. But I tell you what, I haven't had any complaints about the cabin being cold. It has been nice and toasty and cozy in there, even without any power to plug the fan in on the stove. It has done a tremendous job, and I'm just so pleased with that stove. But like I said, there'll have to be some more harder wood mixed in with the softer wood this coming winter to be able to last through and not have any issues, because I think this thing right here will hold 6, I think I had 6 cord in here. Of course, whenever we get the new sawmill built, that building that we got the sawmill in now will become a woodshed, and I'll probably be able to get 8 or 10 in there. But this is pretty much, I think, if I had a mixture of the softer and the harder wood, or maybe just all hardwood, that this would probably last me all winter, because that medium grade wood, it went a long way. And I've still got, oh, I'd say 1.5, maybe if I stacked it all back up here, cord of wood. So I'll probably maybe end up having some of that hardwood left over for next year, but that's okay. And then what I plan on doing is working my way, like I said, through here and see what hardwood I can find, and if I have to buy some more, you know, that's okay, because in the end I think it's a lot cheaper than paying an electricity bill, and it's a much drier type heat. It feels so much better and makes you feel all warm and toasty. Well, let's talk about some of the comments here. This one person writes, well, how about including a date with you, Richard? Just a thought, ha ha ha, or LOL. I think she was referring to, I was asking about people to give us some ideas about some giveaways. I think that's what she was referring to. Another guy writes here, says, I see the Harbor Freight 12,000 pound winches under $400 several times a year. I might have to take a look at that because it would be nice to have one mounted on the tractor. Says, great job, Richard and Patrick. Nice after Christmas present. It's really looking better around there every video. Like the way your cabin interior is coming together, and sounds like more changes on the way. Yeah, I plan on doing quite a bit more to the cabin. I don't really think that I'll probably be totally complete with it until the end of this year. That will give me, you know, the rest of the year to do all the finishing touches to it, because, you know, the back porch, and like I was talking about, putting some more trim work up to make it look, you know, a little more abnormal, you know, so to speak. Not the norm, outside the norm. And I still have to do the rocks, you know, around the side. I still have to put venting in on the two ends and that side over there. I'm going to finish the handrail going down too with some spindles to make it look better. So there's, you know, there's still quite a bit of stuff to do inside and out on the cabin. Another guy writes, Richard, you're truly a man with a plan. New sawmill and workshop coming, can't wait. Patrick's surprise gift will be used a lot in the months to come, and that's true. Patrick has taken care of me as far as the tool end goes. He's constantly monitoring and watching and the things that I'm doing, and making sure that I have the equipment to do it with, to make it easier on me, you know, because his dad's getting older. So he has a lot of forethought in that area. Here's another person who writes, says, Richard, you must have done a great job raising your kids because they care so much about you. Well, I tell you, you know, I just tried to do the best that I could. I'm real proud of both of them. When they were kids, I figured that, you know, the way that I was raised, they weren't any better. So if they got in trouble, you know, there were 3 levels of punishment. The first one, they would, you know, have time out. The second one, they would lose privileges. And the third one, of course, they had their choice of the paddle, the belt, or the switch. I got it several times when I was growing up, and I learned a newfound meaning for respect and law and order, basically. So, you know, and it just basically killed me anytime that I had to punish the kids. But I knew that if I didn't do it, that they would grow up and they would probably be very rebellious. They wouldn't obey, you know, the law of the land. You know, they just, you know, I didn't want my kids being raised up like that. I wanted them to have a healthy respect for each other, for other people, for law, order, and, you know, basically mankind. And so, you know, I did the best I could to provide for them, worked very hard, tried to give them, you know, a nice place to live and nice things, but yet was very stern on the other hand, and
did the best that I could. Took them to church, and like I said, I knew that if I did that, even though maybe later on, when you get to become a teenager, you may try to spread your wings a little bit and fly, and they did, but I think that if you raise kids up like that, that if they do have an area in their life where they kind of, go out and check other things out, that I think that they will return back to that foundation. I believe with children, that's the key to a successful life, is a good foundation. Now that may not be so for everybody, but I knew that that's what I wanted. I tried to lead them in that direction. I did the best that I could, and so it turns out that the things that I did, for them and with them were the right things, because they make right choices now. They do right things, and I couldn't be more proud of my kids. And I think that, they are a real asset to this channel. I don't think that I could have done it without either one of them. Jennifer, of course, Patrick lives in Texas. He can't afford to come up here as much. But Jennifer, she comes out here anytime that she can and helps me out. And Patrick, behind the scenes, taking care of, thumbnails and tags and titles and pictures that I do, and thumbnails for the videos, and just a whole host of other things that he does behind the scenes. So this channel, it wouldn't be possible without them. So I'm very thankful for both of them. I thank the Lord, that they turned out to be such great adults, and I couldn't be more proud of them. Here's another one, right? It says, yes, it's a man cave, but it's a great one. It sure is appealing, warm, cozy looking. I don't know that it's a man cave. The other house that I built on a little bit different theme, so it was decorated and put together differently. It was more of a modern type of a cabin. This is more of a rustic setting type cabin. That's the reason that I went with the curtains with the pattern that they have. That's the reason that I burnt all of this wood and used this wild trim right here on the inside, and tried to set it up kind of like a hunting cabin. But this is also the type of building that the tourists from all over the country, and other countries too for that matter, come through here. 11, 12 million of them a year on the North Carolina, Tennessee side, northern Georgia, all the way up through Virginia and all the way up to Maine. People come to these mountains to rent, cabins like this because they're a little different. So that's what I wanted this one to be. So, didn't try to turn it into a man cave. I was just going with the theme that was set from the beginning. Yeah, here, this goes along with the cabin. This person says, so what, it's masculine inside or a man cave? You are a man with 2 dogs and they sure don't care. Ha ha ha. It looks good and has a cabin vibe going, which most cabins are masculine in interior because it's the wood. Why build a cabin with a modern interior? If you want modern, build a modern house, not a cabin. The idea is to connect to nature, and a lot of nature is masculine in appearance. And I guess they're right. I have followed the nature theme with everything that was going on out here, because I didn't really build anything linear, even though the structures do have vertical and horizontal, which you don't find a whole lot out in nature. But I've still tried to blend it in as much, to the wood line as possible, and I think that it's really turning out good. This is my first time working with wood like the slab wood, or working with crooked wood, or anything like that. This is the first for me, so I'm sure that there's a lot of other people out there that can do a whole lot better. But it's a learning process, and it's fun to do that because it challenges you to try to figure out what this piece is going to look like in the end, because it's not straight. So you need to make it look like it's normal. So that's what I've been trying to do, and that's what a lot of people are saying. Here's another person that writes, and if you've got a Matebo, you might take note of this. It says, you can go to E Replacement Parts and repair your saw there at home. Very good service out of Utah. All you will need is the model, the serial number, and type, if any. So I may have to try to check that out. Here's another person that says, hi Richard, why don't you install gutters? If I get gutters, okay, then I have to have a tank down here on the bottom. So that's another expense. Then I have to have the piping, to come down to the tank. Then I have to have some sort of filter that I put in that too, which is another expense. Then there has to be some sort of pump put in that tank, which is another expense. Then there has to be lines that will be run up to a much higher level than what I'm at, because my idea is to let it gravity feed. So then I have to dig that in. I have to purchase that, which is another cost. Then there has to be a much larger tank put up there, which will probably be underground, because anything overhead, I don't want to take a chance on a tree falling on it and then having a tidal wave coming down the mountain towards the cabin. But yeah, then that's another expense, and then of course the plumbing in the house, but it's going to have that anyway. But regardless of what system for water I go with, or what system I go with for the power, there's several pieces that would have to be purchased that are considerably expensive. And just the guttering alone, I can't really remember. It may have been the cheapest price I found was $1,000, and that's just for that side and that side guttering. I don't think that that's something that I want to do. I'll probably hire that and have some professional people install it. That way they'll have all the parts that they need, and I'm probably going to put that leaf guard on there too. But anyway, my point is it's expensive, and that's the reason that I don't have it, because I figured that that's something that I could do without while I'm carrying this water, because it's not that big a chore. But that is something that's going to have to be addressed, and probably both of those will be addressed to some extent this year. Probably a smaller solar system to see what my needs are going to be, and with what I purchased in the beginning, is it going to be able to handle that need, or am I going to have to add to it as I go? So those are some steps that will probably be taken this year for the cabin. Got a lot of comments about the Indian relic. This one says, I found a spearhead after a deer hunt on an old logging road. Just happened to look down and saw it laying on top of the red clay rocky road. I found a lot just walking along too, just happened to look down. Another one, it says, your Indian relic is nice. I do woolly mammoth bone hunting. I know what it's like. I have hand tools as well. There's a lot of tools that the Indians made to use, that I don't have, that I had some friends who had actually a rolling pin, had a bowl, had a small, what appeared to be like a ball, about the size of a croquet ball. If you don't know what croquet is, that's something that we used to play as kids when I lived up north. But it's got, the stick and the little wooden mallet that you hit the ball and it goes through the ring, about that size. And it was probably something that kids played with, Then I seen a pestle before, a lot of different things. There was one thing that kind of looked like a gigantic spear, but it was way too heavy. It had a sharpened end, basically pointed in, but it was curved on the bottom, and then the other end, it kind of came up to a smooth rounded point. So it must have been used for kind of cutting and grinding, and then the other tip for hitting and mashing. But yeah, I've seen a lot of different things like that I would just love to get my hands on, but I don't have those. But the few that I've got, have stories behind them. Not only the person that made them, but the type of material that they used, and then hundreds of years later somebody else finding it, and appreciating and respecting the fact that they were able to basically take nothing and make something out of it, something that was useful and could be used. This one lady writes, she says, "You're absolutely right. We should count our blessings. I won the DeWalt drill, and every time I use it, I remember you with love and gratitude. Thanks for what you do." Well, you're more than welcome. And you know, it is just our pleasure every month to give away to you guys who, you know, think enough to watch the videos that we try really hard to put together up here and send them out to you guys, so that not only like these types of videos where I can update you on what's going on and share with you, you know, what other people say, but also the Outpost videos where we work really hard to try to improve the homestead, but also filming that and letting you guys be a part of that ride or that adventure, you know, along with us. So we thank you very much for that, and that's just one way that, you know, we can show our appreciation. And that was our desire from the very beginning, to be able to do something like that. And that was another reason that we started that new tier system, because we wanted to do more. And so as the channel grows, you know, we can be able to give back to you guys more. So that was another reason that we started that. So we're constantly trying to figure out ways that, you know, we can include you in being more a part of the channel. Here's another comment. This person says, "I put down the same flooring last year with a different finish." Says, "I have 3 black labs and 1 German Shepherd mix. I live out in the country and it's held up great. Easy to clean. I just spray it down with lemon pine sol and use a Swiffer." Well, there you go. Here's another one that says, "Just to let you know, I wear my hoodie a lot. It was a timely giveaway. Thanks again." Well, you're more than welcome. Somebody said that I need to give away a good pair of snake boots, or at least the leggings, you know, that go on top of your boots. But yeah, that's a good idea. Somebody says, "What about a wood carrier made out of cloth or leather?" Probably like the one that I use. Yeah, that's a good idea too. How about a giveaway, a new GMC 2500 HD pickup truck? I know I would certainly love to win one. Is this something like you had in mind? You know what? Stick with us long enough. The channel grows big enough. I wouldn't mind a bit in the world to give one of those away. Here's another guy that seems to be worried about me. He goes, "The cabin is coming together really nice. 2 great dogs, and all you need, Richard, is a good woman to share this all with. You are a great man. You need companionship. It will make it so much more rewarding." Well, I appreciate the thought. You know, I have really been blessed up here. I have been, you know, busy. My mind is on the homestead. My mind is on my kids and my family, you know, and to continue to provide for them, and to bring you guys along with the most recent chapter in my life, and to just see what I can do up here with ways that I have never built before. So it's kind of a challenge. It's kind of fun. My son teases me like it's going to become a theme park, and you know, or maybe a compound. But I'll tell you what, all joking aside, you know, what I am creating up here is a ways and means to be, first of all, a whole lot more self-sufficient than I have been most of my life. Now, when I was younger and I was growing up, we were quite self-sufficient because we still burned wood, you know, and had a wood stove. We still raised gardens, so we had vegetables. My grandmother still canned, so we had that. And my grandfather, you know, he was pretty much self-sufficient in repairing things that were broken, washing machines, automobiles, whatever. So very seldom did we ever use the services of other people. You know, now of course you can't be totally self-sufficient, just like, you know, fuel for the car, and of course, we had electricity up there, you know, for the lights and for a whole host of other things. You still have to rely on people for some things. But to be as totally self-sufficient as I can, and I'm becoming more and more with every step that I make or take. And the other thing too is to create something, you know, that the kids could have long after I'm gone. You know, this place up here will pretty much have everything, you know, that a person could want. The outdoor kitchen, you know, the chicken house. I plan on having a couple of hogs this year, so I'm going to have to get busy on a hog pen. But having, you know, hopefully solar power, having my own water rain catchment system, having the new sawmill building down there, having the new building for the workshop to put all of the woodworking tools in there, more of a permanent place to park the tractor down there, more of the trees cleared out that are not going to become a threat to any of the buildings, you know, on here at the Outpost. So just, you know, everything, and we've got so many more ideas and things that we've got planned to do. So yeah, this may turn into a theme park, who knows? But no, I'm just joking. But it will be a place that people can come to. I think people enjoy coming out here now. I got some plans on putting that place to sit out in the woods, you know, with the table and the concrete benches that I was talking about in some of the past videos. And the base camp down there, just so many things, guys, that we've got plans to do, and I think people enjoy coming out and being a part of that, putting it together, and then enjoy coming out and being a part of it and enjoying it. So we're looking for, and I talked about putting a couple of campsites down there too. That's something else that I've got on my bucket list that I want to, you know, get done, because we do have subscribers that stop by here, and it'd be nice if they'd, you know, had a place and wanted to. They could actually camp out and stay overnight or stay a couple nights, whatever. But anyway, guys, we certainly do appreciate you stopping by. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I've got things that I need to get outside and get done. But my son, my daughter, and I, we can't thank you enough for all the support that you give us on both channels. It humbles us. And, you know, we would have just never thought that so many people would be so nice, and all the nice comments that come in about the things that we're doing up here. And we want to try to do more live streams this year, so be looking forward to that, because we look forward to seeing you guys online and chatting with you outside of the two channels that we've got. Anyway, we hope everyone has a great afternoon. You guys take care of yourselves, and we hope that you're having a great brand new year, 2022. Anyway, we look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time. Take care. Can't fool you 3 times, can I?